Barcelona has found a way to solve the problem of low sales. The Catalans are buying Nkunku. What was Matvei Safonov doing yesterday? The Russian goalkeeper prevented Paris Saint-Germain's defeat. Ronaldo blasted the goalkeeper for saying that here, comparing Cristiano to Messi, he said the Argentine is better. Mu is buying Isim Henna. And Guardiola is throwing out half the team. The new era of Manchester City. Today we're discussing this and more. Friends, this is Football Dose and the top 10 hottest news to this hour. Friends, in recent days, we can't manage to gather 5,000 likes. I understand the souls and views are less, but nonetheless, with such rates, we will definitely stop working without weekends. So everything is in your hands. I'm counting on your support. Well, I wish you a pleasant appetite and a pleasant viewing. Ronaldo turned out to be right. Manchester United's infrastructure is in terrible condition. Let's recall right now what the Portuguese said in the scandalous interview. Nothing changes. Not the jacuzzi, swimming pool, or even the gym. Some technological aspects, the kitchen and the chef. All of this has frozen in time, which surprised me a lot. I thought I would see other things, technologies, infrastructure. Unfortunately, we see a lot of what I was used to in my youth. This surprised me a lot, Christian said. You might be wondering why we are recalling an interview with Ronaldo from 2 years ago. The topic appears to have been discussed numerous times. Why dig up the past again? Just yesterday, an interesting insight appeared from a portal that was hard to ignore. It turns out that in the trading kiosk there, where you can stock up on food before the matches, they found and marked both rats and mice. After the inspection, the food hygiene rating dropped from 4 to 2 stars. Buying food at Old Trafford is roughly the same as taking it in the back streets of India, a pleasure that will cost you a few days spent on the toilet. In fact, rats have long been terrorizing Manchester United's stadium. They first spoke about the problem more than 10 years ago. Since then, the situation has worsened, with the stadium's quality deteriorating. More cracks and cozy places are appearing, allowing rats to get through. Given the problems, moving to a new modern stadium appears to be the only solution. Jim Redcliffe expressed his desire to build a new arena. He doesn't like the idea of rebuilding Old Trafford, as it would be a lengthy, costly, and complex process. In particular, the team will have to look for where to perform during the reconstruction. And this immediately means a huge loss of income. Building a new stadium seems like a more logical step, but when this will happen remains a mystery. Fans who regularly attend home matches are already dreaming of a new arena. But even preliminary work has not started yet. And I would like to see what the new Trafford will look like. Ruben. Amari has brought the young and talented Manchester United player to the point where he is eager to leave the team. The Portuguese coach has decided who he can trust to place in the squad. It took him less than 2 months. Our main hero is called Marcus Rashford, and finally his stay at Old Trafford has come to an end. The coach ignored him for the last 3 matches. The Englishman didn't even make the squad, and the saga logically came to the point where the forward told the management about his intention to leave. Where's Rashford going to go now? That's a mystery for now. I'm betting on a transfer to Paris Saint-Germain, but I won't rule out a move to the Spanish giants either. With Marcus Rashford's departure, a slot in the attack opens up, and the Manchester United management is planning to fill it this winter. Manchester United is negotiating with Napoli to transfer Victor Osimhen, according to the publication. The Devils want to get the forward cheaper than the buyout amount specified in his contract. It, incidentally, equals 75 million euros. Italian journalist Sasha Tavalieri commented on the possible transfer of Osimhen to Manchester United. Manchester United is negotiating with agent Victor Osimhen. Personal terms will not be a problem. Marcus Rashford's move in January may speed up the deal. If they manage to sign the Nigerian, it will be a significant boost to the team's attacking power. You know, there are such footballers about whom one can discuss whether he will fit or not fit this or that club. But Simon has a unique personality. Such a promising player will make the starting lineup of any top European team. Upon moving to Lille, he instantly became the team's top scorer. Moving to Naples was generally considered a historic victory in Serie A. Then he was swept into Galatasaray, but he doesn't lose his grip there either. The Turks are even considering buying the forward for 50 million euros. an unprecedented price for local football standards. Victor Simkin is so splendid. He is not a one-team player. He's a natural bomber who doesn't care about the composition of whatever club he's going to devastate. His only downside, without which no outstanding forward can exist, is his ego. You need to find an approach to him. Otherwise, there will be problems in the locker room. Pep Guardiola is preparing a revolution at Manchester City. Half will leave. Of the main squad, they will be replaced by other top players. The Catalan coach does not intend to abandon the Manchester project in such a difficult situation. He recently extended his contract, and he plans to use this time to fully prepare a top team for his successor. This is reported by journalist Guillem Balag, who is close to the coach. Let's look in detail at all the insights this journalist provided about the future of Manchester City. At the moment, the main goal of the Garage for the season is to get into the Champions League zone. They are 4 points behind Nottingham, who are in 4th place, while they are in 7th place. Such a handicap can be overcome if the team, at the end of the day, starts playing football. With their current form, they might as well drop down to their neighbors. Next, I pass the word directly to Guillem Blage himself. Let's hear his theory about what will happen to Man City in the near future. Pep Guardiola is using the last 2 years of his contract to prepare a new Manchester City. He is planning radical changes. 5 or 6 key players will leave and new ones will come in their place. This is the beginning of a new era for the team, which will completely change its face, the journalist said. I would like to discuss which main squad players Pep Guardiola is planning to get rid of. I don't see Kevin De Bruyne wearing the Manchester City jersey. The man has overindulged in football and can no longer handle the intensity and strain of a heavy schedule. The same applies to Ilkay Gundogan and possibly Bernardo Silva. Kyle Walker has aged and has been making too many mistakes in the current season. And goalkeeper Ederson has lost the battle for a place to Stefan Ortega. But honestly, none of the current goalkeepers inspire confidence. Possibly we won't see any of these players next season. If Pep is preparing a revolution, then it's necessary to get rid of the old generation. They've had their run and brought a lot of titles to the club, but their time has passed. As they say, the road is open for the young. Zinedine Zidane has been out of work for a long time. The legendary instigator of mischief, even without considering his gaming career. And despite the short coaching career, he could have easily found a grant or signed up for a top team if he wanted to. But Zidane is a winning coach. He doesn't love football just for itself. He's not so interested in tactical innovations, which is clear from his teams. The Frenchman can get by without the game. He's enjoying himself, and his whole demeanor signals that he's happy with the extended vacation. For him, working as a trainer is not primarily a process of deriving pleasure, but a means of achieving results. Zidane needs wins above all else. He will secure victories and the titles that follow them. And that's why Zizou only wants to work where he feels comfortable. He's not Ivan Yurevich, who grabs whatever is convenient. Because it's interesting, and the complexities and challenges only add to the enthusiasm. No, Zizou only needs comfortable projects. And Marco writes about this. Zidane agrees to coach only the France national team or Real Madrid. And he refuses everyone else. Over the past few years, Manchester United, Bayern, Paris Saint-Germain, Juventus, and the strongest national teams, including Brazil, have approached him, but they all left with nothing. Is this MU the coach refused for understandable reasons? Who needs such stress at all? It's obvious that the problem with United is not in the coaches at all. The risk of failure is too great. Plus, Zeus doubts his English. Bavaria hasn't been interested in him in recent years either. It's clear he was scared that the club could end up in a protracted crisis. Zidane has a lot tied to Juventus and his Italian is at a high level, but even Ben Canary couldn't tarnish the legend. Still, the club is going through tough times, and even passenger Zidane was sent further away. Whether it's because of his love for Marseille, or because he understands that winning the Champions League with President Nasser Al-Khelaifi is a task of increased difficulty. However, as the publication notes, Zizou is still ready to take on some unseen, innovative, and revolutionary project. What could he be talking about? Probably about a team with a lot of money and an original approach. What team is this? Honestly, I have no idea. Possibly some Saudi clubs fit this description, especially since Zidane has already worked in the East. But I would rather bet on Zizou's comeback to Real Madrid. The odds for this are quite modest. And Carlo Ancelotti is still threatened with dismissal after this season. Considering the latest news from Germany, where Florian Wirtz is planning to extend his contract with Bayer, it can be assumed that Xabi Alonso may also not stay in Leverkusen. And then Zizou is a straight favorite for the coach's chair of the Slivs. Stanislav Cherchesov came to the Kazakhstan national team right after the successful era of Magomed Adiev. With Adiev, the team narrowly missed qualifying for the Euro. Still, fans of the national team remember those times. An epic comeback against the Dutch and a couple of standout matches against stronger opponents. They were expecting something similar from the experienced and eminent Cheryshev. That's why the management handed him a hefty contract. According to some data, the coach is paid €1,020,000 a year, along with Hjulmand from Denmark and Spanish De La Fuente. Just think, such a bet was definitely made with thoughts about the upcoming World Championship game. Well, it doesn't even smell like a World Cup exit yet. Let the selection not even start. But in 6 matches at the helm of the team, Cherchesov has 5 defeats and 1 draw. And the total score is 0-15. What kind of World Cup exit can we talk about? Yes, the Kazakhstan team played as an underdog in every match. But still, scoring only 1 point, even in the match with the Norwegians, is a disgrace. Like everything else, Cheryshev immediately began conflicting with journalists. He struggles to communicate effectively with the media, particularly when his team's performance is subpar, and he must defend himself. Cheryshev attempted a joke, but it fell flat with most fans. And the national team management, too. Commentator Ermakhmed Malin said on his Telegram channel that the new president of the Kazakhstan Football Federation, Marat Amarov, will send the coach on leave. Now, lawyers are working on the issue of contract termination. Then the commentator stated that Cheryshev still has a chance to stay. But Amarov is really looking for a new coach? The honored coach of Kazakhstan, Pavel Cherepanov, confirmed the dismissal information. They didn't understand Cherchesov's joke about the Kazakh language. In southern countries, they are sickly receptive. The delay is a good option for him, too. This will delay Cherchesov and the Kazakhstan team. I know from my own sources. At the same time, Cherepanov noted that he would prefer Cherchesov to stay. After all, the coach was not lucky. He came to the team when many key players were in decline. He's partly right, but the federation needs results, and he doesn't have them. Maybe not, but Cherchesov wouldn't have been fired. But he provoked hate from both the media and the fans. That is, he literally stuck his head in the noose. Until the shooting with Cristiano Ronaldo, Mr. Beast said that Messi is the greatest footballer of all time. But in the videos with the Portuguese, we didn't hear anything similar from the American. In his fresh video, Christian participated in challenges with Beast and his friends. The bloggers agreed that the Portuguese will start taking penalties into the goal, which will increasingly have goalkeepers. And when Ron threatened to hit him very hard, Beast pointed to one of his comrades and said, "Nolan says you don't like him, that you're not the best in history." Nolan thinks Messi's better. He calls football soccer, says Messi is the greatest. Krish pondered and asked who there says Messi is better, and with such force cornered Nolan that he didn't even try to fight back, and even admitted he was scared and thought it was the end for him. It seems Krish didn't hear Bista's previous words, otherwise he would have hit him. One of Portugal's blows nearly broke the blogger's hand. Some boys started criticizing Ronaldo in the comments for his joke about Messi after the blow. They question how he can bring up his rivalry with Messi once more. How much longer can he claim that he's better? Messi takes this seriously. How does Chris even dare talk about Leo that way without fearing the Argentines' reaction? Well, what can you say? Haters gonna hate. In my opinion, Chris just recklessly threw Roth on the subject. Although maybe I'm seeing the situation wrong. I doubt that Messi watches Ronaldo's videos. Now Leo is resting in creating content for his Instagram together with the beautiful Antonella. Nothing, honestly speaking, in particular. Possibly, a more media-savvy Neymar will teach Messi how to properly promote himself. According to AES, Sapley has been heavily involved in the transfer to Inter Miami. The club's management is confident they will finalize the deal. The first offer will be made in January. The only question is about the timing. They will buy it if Al Hilal is loyal and does not demand a large sum. If they can't agree with the auditors, Inter will wait for the end of the Club World Cup and sign it as a free agent. By that time, Miami will have more money thanks to the Infantino tournament. Paris Saint-Germain did not fly out of the French Cup. Lens drank Parisian blood in order. Matvei Safonov had to bail out the team. Matvei saved 3 times in regular time but still missed. Nevertheless, there are no questions about him. Abdulkadir Husanov broke through Safonov in a rush after the corner. The defense is to blame. Matvey had a great match in all respects. His footwork is also top-notch. Even the long passes, which he didn't always manage before. And here he cut out 7 out of 9. Somehow the team made it to the penalty shootout. And there, Safonov really showed his colors. First, he read Mbappe's shot to the center and turned it into a corner kick. He guessed Antidayev's shot direction and fetched it from the corner. Meetings are obvious. Of course, it's Matvey. Luis Enrique publicly praised the goalkeeper. When you play 90 minutes away against an opponent of this level, you have to be ready to suffer. And we were ready. Safonov is a penalty specialist. He demonstrated it again. Safonov received a rating of 7 from the French newspaper. This is the highest rating in the Paris Saint-Germain squad. Moreover, yesterday's issue came out with Safonov on the cover and the caption, "Cool-headed goalkeeper." In the background, I'm scrolling through memes from Paris Saint-Germain fans. They were also thrilled with the footballer. After the match, the Russian said that it became easier for him to play for Paris Saint-Germain. He stated that, of course, it was not easy to let Paris go. Still, it's a different level after Krasnodar. And it took time to adapt. It was hard already at the first trainings. It seemed that everything was happening too fast. I've discussed this numerous times before. Russian Premier League is just a top-notch league. Even to the untrained eye, it's clear that Golovin is playing at a pace much faster than everyone else on the Russian national team. Safonov said he needed time to strengthen himself, but now he feels confident and ready to lead the team. Matvey's game gave Luis Enrique a reason to praise himself. The coach was heavily criticized for rotating goalkeepers, and yesterday, the head coach stated that the rotation of Donnarumma and Safonov will bear fruit. Despite not playing yet, Donis is ready. My goal is that not a single player lets their guard down. After such a performance by Safonov in the cube, it seems that Donnarumma, returning from the lazaret, will have to fight for a place at the start. And it's not a fact that he will take a place in the frame of the gate if Matvey continues to play at the same level. Barcelona needs a new Favorita to avoid losing the championship. Yes, Ferran Torres strongly showed himself in the match against Borussia Dortmund. He is comfortable with an open style of play. But with all due respect, he can't be called a real bombardier. Robert Lewandowski remains the team's main striker. The Pole is primarily responsible for the team's recent failures. Just a terrible execution. Why and possibly is this a temporary slump? But there have been a lot of them lately. I'd rather bet on what is said to be age. And how can age affect the realization, you ask? Surely with experience it should only improve. That's how it is. However, whether it's Xavi or Flick, they make Lev run around the field like a young player. It's impossible without Robert's involvement, as the press won't work without him. He should launch it in the first place. He tries, but sometimes it's not enough. They missed the Betis match due to Lev's actions. And in the match with Atletico, Poliak was sent off due to the young Gavi's actions. Havek was dissatisfied with the fact that Robert does not press the defenders intensively enough. But even so, Lewandowski manages to put pressure on the defenders. And then it critically affects his performance. After running out of breath, he simply can't get the ball into the corner. Keeping calm in this situation is harder. And that's exactly what a successful Galador needs. Barcelona generally has 2 exit routes, and both are being considered by the management. The first is to sell Lewandowski and get someone younger. According to Diarrhea Sport, many Barca supporters favor terminating Puyol's contract this summer. Buying a top replacement will be hard, but dreaming is harmless. But some believe that the contract should be respected. Eliminating Lev like this is absolutely not an option. Those of such opinion prefer the second way to solve the problem, to buy a strong one from a competitor. According to the data, Barca has a suitable candidate. Pini Zahavi, Lewandowski's agent and Laporta's friend, offered his other client, Chelsea's Christopher Nkunku, to Barca. The Frenchman wants to change teams. If Nkunku doesn't get excessively injured and can replace Reece James, then it's simply a great choice. Nkunku is a pressing machine. He fits perfectly into Flick's football. He's also ready to play in any position in the attack. Consider him already familiar with Hanti's system. Red Bull's football is very similar to the tactics of the Germans. That's why it needs to be taken. Alexandre Nesta led the ambitious Mansa in the summer. A strong squad, a budget at the level of an average, or even higher. A prospective coach who was impossible not to respect because of his legendary career. It seemed like what could go wrong? But Nesta let Mansu down. I've seen a couple of team games, and I think it's not worth letting all the dogs go on the coach. The club also had a hard time. They didn't achieve much. But this does not justify the last line in the championship. That's why the coach was fired. It's time to save the season before it's too late. I want to gain experience and have a more successful second entry into the A series. Manso has taken Salvatore Becchetti. The ex-Spartak defender has not coached at the top level yet. He has experience with the Verona's youth team and was also part of the main team's coaching staff. In short, the choices are quite peculiar. Sports director Monchi and Milan legend Adriano Galliani are known for their surprising moves, and this isn't the first time. Although 9 out of 10 managers, trying to save themselves from being fired, would bet on someone experienced, La Liga has caused another delay. Valencia, which is also in the relegation zone, said goodbye to Ruben Barajo. Last season, Barajas squeezed the maximum out of the Golden Squad and took the 9th line. And Peter Lim, perhaps the worst club owner in La Liga, or even nothing at all can be changed. Although Baraja performed a miracle, nothing at all can be changed with Lim. Although Baraja performed a miracle, Lim is draining money from the team, not allocating normal resources for transfers. Valente has to make do with trainees. She simply lacks quality. And it's completely unclear which coach would want to deal with a sinking ship in the current situation. You can either persuade someone completely inexperienced or Kiki Flores, who agrees to anything. Batman fans are protesting, and not without reason. In my view, Lim has already succeeded in dismissing the Batman. And with good reason. You won't invite a top trainer. The situation is terrible. The roster is nothing special. And ahead is a calendar that is getting smarter. Real Madrid, Sevilla, Real Sociedad, Barcelona, Celta, Leganes, Villarreal, Real, Atlético Madrid. Perhaps good luck. But for salvation, something bigger is already needed. Barcelona is readying for winter signings. Despite the club's financial problems, the Catalans need to do something with the squad reserves. They are too weak to be competitive throughout the season. The first 4 months have proven this to us. Specifically, there are issues with the defense's right flank. Kund is not always in optimal form, and there's no one to replace the Frenchman. Young Hector Ford has shown that he is not capable of becoming a suitable alternative. The defense edge is generally the weakest zone of Barcelona. Ford can't handle the base on the right flank. His partner Gerard Martin can't handle the left eyebrow. We definitely need to sign someone. Last season, Joao Cancelo played for Barcelona. He could become a reinforcement for the team in the winter window. This summer, the Portuguese returned to Manchester City, where the head coach doesn't want to see him. Perhaps Guardiola would reconsider his views, seeing how Kyle Walker brings moment after moment. Whatever the case, the Catalan immediately made it clear that Cancelo would not play on his team. He could have returned to Barcelona, but the citizens demanded money, and there was no money. Cancelo had to go to Saudi Arabia, but he did not appreciate the local beauty and wanted to return to European football. And the source confirms that the Portuguese dreams of being in Barcelona again and is ready to meet all salary demands. This will be something like Dani Alves' return. The Brazilian agreed to the minimum allowable salary as the head coach, then Hansi Flick, and earlier asked the management to sign the extreme defender who could compete with Jules Koundé. The German has approved Cancelo's transfer, but there is a condition. Barcelona's sporting director is against the return of the Portuguese. Deco has different plans that don't involve transferring Cancelo, as much as the head coach didn't want it. But the saga continues. Barcelona's lineup can be acquired for a bargain. Do you see the list of those who wish? And in Barcelona's lineup for pennies? Do you see the list of those who wish? I don't see it because it doesn't exist. That's all for today. Thanks for watching and subscribing to the channel. Be sure to subscribe to our Telegram. YouTube is again blowing with all possible forces. Therefore, to stay in touch, click on the link in the description or in the pinned comment. We will dub all the videos. There. Well, my name is Kirill Cast, and this was your daily dose of football. Peace to your house and your hang-up friends.